Friends, welcome back to my channel. My name's Angel, and today we're going to be getting into the spirit of Valentine's Day, because I believe I'm posting this today before. So my top romance recommendations. I feel like my purpose, I've just done a video like this where I just recommended some of my favorite books, more so favorite authors in this video. So let's just get into it. A couple housekeeping things. If you hear my dishwasher, I'm so sorry. It's on. I can't do anything about it. Secondly, if you notice my shelves looking kind of bare or kind of scattered, it's because we are moving next week. So I'm getting all my books packed up. I wanted to leave a couple on the shelves so like for when I was filming this video, obviously have something behind me. But there's also like 2 big boxes here full of them, and I'm gonna be taking the rest of them down as soon as I film this video. So I have a new little bookish setup, probably my next sit down video. And third, I woke up this morning, we were at 1,750 subscribers. So thank you guys so much. It just blows me away that I have like this little corner of the internet that I just like love so much, and I can just come and yap about books with, and that you guys care enough to then keep coming back to listen to me yap about books, and then also just like follow along for it. And it means so much to me. So thank you guys so much. I'm so grateful. Alright, some of these authors are like the mainstream ones you probably already know. I do have a couple I feel like aren't talked about as heavily that I do love that I want to like chat about, but let's just get right into it. To absolutely nobody's surprise, one of my top romance authors of all time, anything this woman writes I will read, is Miss Elsie Silver. So she's the author of the Chestnut Spring series. That's like one I feel like she's most well known for. That's this one, Flawless. And you have Heartless, Powerless, Reckless, and Hopeless. And she also has her Gold Rush Ranch series, which was published beforehand, that I believe is getting now traditionally republished. And then Rose Hill, which she's currently publishing. The 3rd book comes out next month now in March, very beginning. These are cowboy romances, but the thing that I feel like really sells these books for a lot of people is the found family in them. The found family is like unlike anything I've ever in my entire life. The way she writes characters, the way she writes men is fantastic. I will say, I feel like I don't notice it as much in Gold Rush Ranch, but as her writing has progressed, she's definitely got a lot spicier. So there definitely is, I feel like these books are pretty chunky. Like these ones are like 430 pages. I believe Hopeless is over 500, and there's a good amount of spice in there. So if spice not like your top thing, I'd say maybe not, or you can always just like skim over if you'd like. I don't think anything ever like truly really important happens during the spice. It's kind of just there. If you had told me that's my favorite romance books were cowboy romance books before, I'd have laughed at you, but here I am, and this is like probably my favorite romance series of all time, Chestnut Springs. A newfound love I found only a couple like months ago, I'd say, is Catherine Centers. So she has a lot of books out right now, but I feel like the ones she's like most well known for, the ones she's recently been publishing, is The Bodyguard, Hello Stranger, The Rom-Commers, and then she has The Love Haters coming out May or June, I believe. But as you can see, she has a bunch of other books on her backlist as well that I am looking forward to like going back down now and like reading those. I've heard very good things about Things You Save in a Fire. I'm not sure if that's actually like a romance book or just like a literary fiction. I know that she writes like such like unique storylines and just like fun storylines. And there's something about her writing that's very like Emily Henry-esque, I say, with kind of like, if you love Emily Henry, you know like how she writes. I feel like this is kind of very similar to that. I love that she builds her characters, and always the dialogue between them is very entertaining. Like the banter is always really good. My favorite by her is probably The Bodyguard. That was a 5-star for me. This was a 4.5, but her books are never too long. This one's like just over 300 pages, and they're always a good time. They're quick, easy to read, and you just get the good, fun vibes that like, I love these ones. A newer author I just found that I've only read one book from is Julie Soto. This is her debut novel, Forget Me Not. She does have another one, I think it's called like Not a Love Song, I believe, that I just ordered from Book Outlet that I'm really excited to get when it comes in. This romance is just so much fun. This one specifically was like a then and now timeline where we got her POV in the present, and then his like 3 years ago when they were like first meeting. We're trying to figure out like, you know, what the relationship even was, how it fell apart, all that. And it was between a wedding planner and a florist who does like obviously like floral arrangements. He's a vendor for weddings, and it was so much fun. And if you're at all skeptical, it is blurbed by Ali Hazelwood, and she says Julie Soto is my favorite writer, period. And on the back, Abby Jimenez says Forget Me Not is a triumph. So that's all you really need to know. Those 2 girlies back it, we're good. One for my KU girlies I actually feel like I need to read more of too, because I did really enjoy this series, is Miss Stephanie Perry. She does have a lot of independently published series on KU, but a lot of her books are being picked up now and traditionally published as well. The series I really loved is called The Edens. This is book 6, the last one, and pretty much this is like a small town where the Eden family is like the most like prominent family in this town. It's like each sibling gets their own book. There's really good small town. They fly by really quickly. They're short. That's like I said, this one's just over 300 pages again. And I know she has like, I swear it's like a million series on KU. So if you're somebody who like, yeah, oh my god, like these are all her books on KU. So if you're somebody who wants to go for like a backlist, definitely. I've heard really good things about the Calamity Montana series, the Clifton Forge series I've heard good things about, and the Lark Cove one. I believe I've heard good things about that one as well. But there's like at least 25 books on her backlist. This is an author that if you end up enjoying, she writes a lot of small town romance. They're on KU, so if you have KU, it's free to read. So definitely check her out. Another KU author I just found actually was Alison Spica, and she's an indie author I keep seeing all over my free page on TikTok. I love this woman's writing. I was like so skeptical to read it for so long just because I found that like with KU books, I'm really bad about sorry, it's not really bad actually, but I definitely prioritize my physical TBR, and then what happens, just like if a book's on KU, it gets pushed to the back burner because it's not my physical TBR, and I'm somebody where like when I set a TBR, it's being read, right? So if like I choose 8 books for the month and I only read those 8 books, I'm not really reaching for my Kindle at all. But I'm gonna start reading at least like 2 KU books a month just to make my subscription worth it, I feel like, because there's months where I don't read any book on KU and I'm like, I just paid for nothing. She's an indie romance author. She says her books are light on the spice, heavy on the banter, and I would definitely agree with that. Also, the spice she does write is not cringy. You know, like, so there's some books where you read like one line and you're out. Not her. So my favorite one by her was Trip Switch. It's actually her most recent release. It just came out, I believe, last month, and it's like a travel romance. I think that's why I loved it so much. And then just go back and read one of her other books, Key Ridge, and that one I think I gave a 4-star. You could tell the writing in that one at the beginning I feel like was a little bit more, I don't like saying clunky because I did still really enjoy it, but I feel like the writing didn't flow as nicely at the beginning, but also because I think that was her 3rd or 4th book and I was on her 6th, and I did not see those problems present in the 6th book at all. So one of the things like you're getting to see her progress as a writer as well, which is really cool. She self-edits all her books, so applause to her. And like I said, she just have 6 books up currently, so if you do like one, you can kind of go back and work your way through her backlist. I know she is working on book 7 right now. I believe she's almost on the first draft of book 7, which is really good. Then we have Miss Ashley Poston herself. I love this one, her writing. I love romance that has like a little sprinkling of something else in it, whether it's mystery or magical realism in this case. She writes magical realism so well. It's like always gives me like a happy, giddy feeling when I read her books. I'd say 7 Year Slip is the one that she's most well known for, so like her most highly rated. I'd say honestly that one or this one is my favorite. I actually really enjoyed Novel Love Story. Some people said they didn't, but this one pretty much like there's a storm and she ends up in her favorite book town, and like incredible. The thing about all these authors too, like I said, is I feel like romance books can get pumped out like not pretty quickly, but like at least once a year. I think all these authors that I've listed all have at least one more book coming out this year, if not multiple. So we've Ashley Poston's comes out in June, and it's also about like musicians, I believe, which I'm really excited about. These two I kind of kept in their own category because these two are also romance authors for sure, but ones that I always say have a little bit more to them. Like there's like not like leaning more towards women's fiction, but kind of. It's probably one of my top romance authors of all time, tied with Elsie Silver, is Abby Jimenez. I love this woman so much. So just this one was the first book I ever tabbed. Not sure you can see them all, but I love this book so much. I gave it a 5-star. And like, there's just days where I just like I walk up to this book and I just like flip through some of the tabs and like I'm just like, oh, I wish I could read this again for the first time. She writes characters that are just like so real and raw, and there's always more than a romance. There's always something going on that's like hindering both the characters' lives or one of the characters' lives, and they have to like work through that. And I love how she communicates in her books via her characters. So then normally she just deal with like pretty heavy subject matters in all her books, and you can always tell she takes the time to actually properly educate herself on these things before she writes about them. Like in all her acknowledgements, she's always thanking somebody who helped her. So in this one, thank you to Sue Lamar, a licensed clinical counselor specializing in trauma, Dr. Julie Patton, licensed psychologist, and Dr. Karen Flood for helping me to depict the mental health aspects of this book with sensitivity and accuracy. She always goes that extra mile. Like even too, I got so lucky, I got to read an arc of Say Remember Me, and I gave that one a 5-star as well. It was the same thing. There's some pretty heavy topics in there, and same thing. She like actually took time to talk to people and research like all that stuff to make sure it was like, you know, accurately shown, and it just, you can definitely tell it makes a difference. Do I cry during all her books? Yes, but they are like my favorites. And kind of that same line where it's romance, but always a little bit more, is Emily Henry. I love me some Emily Henry also, and I've also like just discovered she does have other books that came out kind of before her like main ones, where it's like magical realism, I'm pretty sure. I'm kind of tempted to try some of those out. Now, do we have beef because her books coming out in hardcover first now? Yes, we have some beef for that because I have to wait forever to get her books. Like I just got my cover of Happy Place maybe like 2-3 months ago, and I'm still waiting to get Funny Story in paperback, obviously, and then when Great Big Beautiful Life comes out, I will have to wait like probably a year to get paperback of that one. But so I just keep reading them on Libby. I put Libby holds in, or I buy them on my Kobo, but yeah, the whole hardback business, not my vibe. You guys have to know, there's something about Emily Henry's writing. It's just the way she writes, it's so beautiful. Her stories are always super fun, and she like said, same thing as Abby Jimenez, her characters deal with complex things in the book, and then they have to like work through that together. And I don't think I've read a single one of her books I've rated like below like a 4-star. Like this one I probably say is my people say is like their least favorite of her, and so I really enjoyed this one. Lastly, I was hesitant to put this as a romance author, to be honest, because I go back and forth with whether I think this series is romance or not, and I know also the author is leaning into some fantasy now, but just a Hastings. Listen, the Magnolia Park series, I thought I was gonna like hate this because of how toxic everybody says it was. I loved this series. Like, is it one for me that's like a Roman Empire I think about all the time? No, but like I gave one book in the series a 5-star. I think the lowest I gave any other ones were like a 3.75 or a 4. It was a very good series. And even though the characters aggravate you to absolutely no end, you do find yourself rooting for them, which I always found like very confusing when I was reading it. I'm like, I literally despise you, but I want this to work. Her writing is very lyrical and like flowery, and I find that like some of her quotes romantically are incredible. I would be like calling her a romance author, but yeah, this one is really good. Without further ado, this was my favorite romance authors that I like to read. Maybe the Rex, please let me know. I tend to be more of a romantasy girl, but sometimes a contemporary romance just hits. If you guys like today's video, please do like, comment, subscribe. It helps the channel out so much. I'm also on BookTube, Angel's Book Corner, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.